Those are all opened at over 60% rate.
That's awesome. Well, I know this is a strange, random thing, but I think I would be like really good at being homeless.
You're like, I've got a plan.
I have this whole plan. Yes, you have said you are an agent, but are you showing you are an agent? The secret you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
That's a good one.
So good. Hi, Alyssa. Welcome.
Hey, Katy.
It is episode 257, which is a follow-up to last week's fun episode. He's just not that into you.
Yes.
This week, we're going to show that we're a realtor with our favorite song as a guide. Not our favorite song, just a song as a guide.
So call me maybe.
Do you know any other words to this?
Hey, I just met you.
This is crazy.
But here's my number.
So call me maybe. Yep.
But we're taking it like, realtors like, call me maybe. Maybe my phone's not ringing.
Or like they're giving out their number all the time.
All the billboards.
It's literally everywhere.
It on Facebook.
I put it on Facebook.
But my phone's not ringing.
Nobody's
and then when it
calling.
does ring and I'm excited, it's Zillow. Or someone trying to sell me health insurance.
Oh gosh. The text.
You get so excited thinking, the client is calling me. And you're like, hello.
And you're like, ugh.
Mom, I got to call you back.
I know. We need to come up with a script that's not mom, but like for the people selling you stuff that's like, if you don't want to buy a house, I don't want to sell what you've got.
Maybe like a voicemail.
Yeah. Like if you're not calling me to buy or sell your home,
Stop calling me.
I'm not buying what you're selling.
Yeah.
Stop calling me. Okay. So tell me why. Why are we talking about this?
Okay. So I have noticed that, you know how people call like Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, the baby boomers, like they're labeling them.
Right? This has been happening for literally generations.
Yes. I have noticed lately a pattern in the behavior of new agents.
Are we calling them Gen Z?
I don't know what we'll call them.
Okay, keep going.
Depending on the state of the market when they got licensed.
Okay.
Okay. So like in the beginning, when I got licensed, for example, in 2011, I don't know what I would call myself, but there was social media, but nobody was really, like real estate wasn't huge on social media. So there was also just not a lot of young people, young realtors in 2011.
Right.
When I went and interviewed offices, it was, mostly older agents. And I think even at the time, the average age of a realtor was 65.
Correct. Okay.
When I started real estate, because I remember hearing that statistic in a class. Okay.
And you're like, whoa.
All of that to say, I had to do things so differently than a new agent today.
Yep.
But just in the last 4 years, depending on when you got licensed, how you had to start was different. Sort of like how you got licensed and Katrina Hurricane Katrina had just happened.
Yep.
And you were kind of like thrown to the wolves to answer as many calls.
Figure it out.
Like, hurry, the market's busy, right?
Yeah. Well, people were literally beating down the doors.
They were.
I know.
Yes. And so it's similar to what happened during the COVID years when it was just bidding wars all across the country. You may be like their corporate jobs were shutting down and their plan B was real estate. I'm going to get my real estate license.
Yes. Okay.
And, the second I got licensed, all of a sudden my phone was ringing because there's so many people out there that are trying to buy a house right now or sell a house because buyers are paying so much money. Like, this is easy.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're in 2024. Hey there, are you looking for ways to save time and money in your business?
Email Templates 101 is the communication system you need to bring ease and efficiency to managing your transactions and clients.
Save time and avoid mistakes, all while providing a high level of service for your buyers and sellers.
In Email Templates 101, you'll get 13 downloadable buyer templates ready for your personal touches.
And 19 downloadable seller templates, plus 6 attachment checklists.
Head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/courses to get yours today.
I just listened to a speaker, non-real estate speaker, who was just talking about how we're living in the 20s.
Right.
You know, we refer to like the 1920s.
Right, the roaring 20s.
The roaring 20s. But one day, when we're older, they're going to be like, remember when we survived the 20s?
Yeah.
And 2024 specifically is like, we're having insurance failure across the country. It's an election year. Interest rates are very high. There's just so much going on that one day this may be referred back to as like the decade of the 20s. Like, remember COVID?
It was hard.
It was hard.
Maybe we'll have roaring 30s.
Yeah.
But we've still got so far to go.
I know. We do have a little bit of ways to go. Okay. That's all my lead up to what made me notice. You know, I'm always out and about talking to agents, and people in my office, people at the board, and you get so used to hearing the same thing over and over and over again. And just this year, I feel like the narrative has changed.
Okay, what is the current narrative?
Well, when I'm talking to new agents now, we are back to it's hard. However, they're more surprised that it's hard.
Oh, they're like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Why isn't this easier?
Correct.
Yeah. Oh,
because we're coming out of a time period where selling a house wasn't the most, I mean, put it this way. Yes, we still had obstacles to work through. There's so much to go through within the process of selling a house. But as far as getting quote unquote like leads and things like that, those are more sparse right now. So actually getting the client right now is harder.
Yeah.
Because there's not as many people looking to buy. There's not as many people looking to sell. All these people just bought with their low interest rates. And if they have a low interest rate, they're probably just going to sit tight for a minute. So when I started in 2011 and Connie told me, listen, like real estate is hard. And it requires a lot of work. You have to treat it like a business. That's just all I knew.
Yeah.
So I was prepared for that. But now they're coming into it after seeing the last 3 years of just deals blowing and going. And, you know, everybody's on social media talking about sold a house in one day, over asking who's next. I mean, so then they get licensed and they're like, wait a minute, this is hard.
Yeah, because the market does determine how hard it's going to be.
Sure.
I mean, it can make it easy and it can make it very hard. And on top of that, we're layering in like so much turmoil in the actual field.
Yes. There's just a lot going on right now.
Good news. While you were giving me the so we're basically covering the last 20 years of real estate, right? Because I got my license in 2005. So it'll in one more year, it'll be 20 years. So the back then, the no social media, then I had Katrina, then the crash, like the actual real estate crash. We're going to call that time frame the traditionalists.
Okay.
We did it the traditional way.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit of social media was showing up, but it was just traditional and the market was pretty normal and then the market crashed.
Okay.
2011, when you showed up, I'm calling you the transitionalists.
Yes.
It was just we're changing. We're adding in the social media. I think I got on in like 2009 because if I took one more real estate class that told me I needed to be on social media, and I'm pretty tech savvy and want to be on the front end, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So traditionalist, then we're on you're the transitionalist.
Okay.
In 2020s, the beginning of 2020, we're going to call that the opportunist. The opportunity was everywhere, right? It was relatively easy to get your license. You had an opportunity where maybe your job sent you home and you had time to do it, right?
You're so good at this.
Okay. Then in 2024, we're now the survivalists.
Yes.
Like who's going to survive? There's turmoil in the industry. There's turmoil in the market. Like it's not as easy to buy or sell. Like who is going to survive? Okay, those are my...
That was excellent.
I gave your generation's names.
I love it.
Okay, great.
Because I did not think that far ahead. And these are perfect names.
Perfect.
That's exactly what I was trying to verbalize. So thank you.
You told me. You sold it to me.
Thank you. And so I had some conversations with some agents today. And listen, when I say new agent, I don't necessarily mean young people.
Just new to the business.
Yes. And I'm talking to people that are young, but I talked to a lady this week that was in her 50s and this is her second career.
Sure.
And she got into real estate. So this is everybody that I have talked to. And it was such a trend. I think we might need an episode on this because if I'm hearing it this much, surely our listeners are also experiencing this as well.
Right.
So whenever she came and sat down with me, as always, when you're new and you have all that anxious energy and you're excited and you just want things to start happening. And she's like, I don't know. I've let everybody know that I'm a realtor. I have put it on Facebook and nobody's reaching out. And I'm going, okay, well, have you done your announcement cards? So in our office, if you get 250 people on an Excel spreadsheet, they will send out a mailer on your behalf saying, we are welcoming Alyssa Jenkins to our company. If you need help buying or selling, please call her. That's just step one. Okay. So I'm like, have you done that? And she's like, yeah, I have let everybody know.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows that I am a real estate agent and nobody's calling me.
Right.
And this was after a really good sales meeting.
Okay.
So during this sales meeting, we got a very interesting insurance update about flood insurance. It was just very informative.
Yeah.
So I asked her, I said, so you've been talking to me for like 30 minutes after this meeting. Have you shared anything on your social media or to your email list about what you learned in this meeting? Like, this is fascinating stuff. This is so
helpful to the consumer.
Yes, very helpful. And she was like, well, no, I haven't. I wasn't going to
It's like, I'm waiting for them to call me.
Right.
When are they going to call?
Right. And it reminded me, and I know we've said this before, but how social media gives you such a false sense of security.
Yep.
You think that because you posted it and because you told people that they know you are a real estate agent.
Right. And here's the truth of it. Even if you told them face to face, as soon as you walk away, no one is thinking about you.
Okay. Yes.
No one is thinking about you.
I don't know if it is summer or what is going on, but my short-term memory loss, I'm just like Dory over here this summer. I'm like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I'm like, if it's not in writing somewhere.
Don't remember.
I don't remember. So if you texted me and I said, sure, anybody listening, if you have texted me and I responded and did not send you what you need, text me again or shoot me an email.
Right.
I am just... There's so much going on in the world in general that I'm not going to remember.
No.
And when the time comes for me to need something, I'm not going to be like, who was that girl 4 months ago?
Look, someone might even be like, God, someone just told me they were an agent, but I don't know who it was. So let me call my mom and get her agent's name.
Correct.
Right? Because they're like, oh, I wish I could remember.
And how many times have you talked to someone and you said, oh, awesome. Who was your agent?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
They were great.
Yeah, she was so good.
Loved her.
She had brown hair. And I'm like, wow, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Who knew?
So it just goes to show that if the consumer is not remembering who helped them buy their house.
They certainly aren't remembering if you one time mentioned you've gotten into real estate.
Yeah, your one pre-printed postcard that you sent out.
No.
And so I gave her a little challenge.
Okay, what was the challenge?
I want you to pretend like you don't have Facebook or social media anymore.
Okay.
It is not there. What are you going to do now?
What did she say?
And she looked terrified.
She's like, wait a minute.
Yes. It was like I removed the only thing that was giving her quote unquote security.
Right, but I'm working. I told people.
I know.
But so let's just say you have 500 friends and or followers, 500 people you know on social media. Less than 5% see your posts.
Right. So when I told her that statistic, she was like, what? I said, yeah, just because you post something
doesn't mean anyone saw it.
100% of your friends don't see it.
Now, if she had hand-to-hand combated this and was sending a DM to each of the 500 people, different.
And guess what? That's work. Mm-hmm.
Or if she sent a text, not just a postcard in the mail, maybe the text is like, hey, maybe you got my postcard.
Yes.
I am loving being in real estate. It's such a change from my last career. I am headed to an open house today. If you ever want to just hang out and chat, I have a different schedule now and I'd love to talk to, I'd love to see you.
That's so good.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I have a different schedule now. And
so I'm available.
Meet for lunch to talk about anything. Yeah. That's good.
But then you sent send the message.
I remember after I mailed out, it took me a minute to get my Excel spreadsheet in order in a way that they could send this mailer. So I thought, whew, got that out the way. And Connie's like, okay, guess what? Now you need to write 250 handwritten letters to every person that got an announcement card.
Like,
and I was
like,
what? Just doing like the prepaid, pre-printed stuff was hard.
Right.
But you know what? That's what I did.
You wrote the letters.
It took a long time.
Yeah.
I would just put on, he's just not that into you. And write the letters over and over until my hand was like decrepit because I was like, I can't
do it anymore.
And then I would have to take a break and start again the next day.
Do you have any recollection of what the letters said-ish?
Yeah, I wrote it 250 times.
Please
I could probably just recite it.
Please tell us.
It said something very similar to what you just said. Hey, Susie, you may have gotten the card that my new company sent out letting everybody know I'm in real estate, but I wanted to reach out to you personally and just let you know that I'm here, I'm available. This company that I have joined is so incredible. I have so much support. And they are a huge leader in our industry. I was trying to, because I didn't have any
right. And these people know you, so they know how young you are.
They know I'm young, and they know that I don't have any experience.
Right.
These aren't strangers.
Right.
So I was trying to let them know I have joined a company with a solid reputation in the industry.
That was a great way to take it.
If I can't rely on my own numbers, I will use theirs and their reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And just let them know how excited I was about this and that I'm taking new clients. And I said, if you know anybody, please think of me. And I included 5 business cards back in 2000.
Probably didn't need that now.
Probably didn't need to do that. But I included 5 business cards inside each letter.
You were asking for business.
I was asking for business very directly.
Yeah.
But also, I think by saying, you may have gotten this pre-printed thing from my company. I wanted to reach out to you personally.
Right.
Is personal.
Yeah.
And the response from that, guess what? Still wasn't.
No one called you? Like, no, hey, let's buy a house.
I started getting some activity.
Okay. Not
necessarily closings at first.
Right.
But, I had one lady respond that was like, oh, I got your card. Thank you so much. I'm so curious about these condos in Perkins Row. I don't know what we're going to do. Just it. And to be honest, it never actually led to anything. She never moved. But I did all this research on the condos, got back with her. And so when she thinks of real estate agents, she thinks of me now.
Right.
And that was the whole point, was not necessarily, are you going to buy a house? But I need you to know somebody that when you hear it, you think of me.
Yeah.
I think that's why I have never felt like real estate was quote unquote salesy.
Right.
Because I'm not calling these people that I know to invite them to my house for a party to sell something.
Right.
It's not that type of thing.
You're not calling an expired listing being like, I only am talking to you because I want to take this listing.
Correct. It was never like that. It was more of a asking for help.
Yeah.
And people love to help.
They do.
And when I said, I'm enjoying this, and if you ever hear of anyone, please just know I'm going to do the best job that I can. And I have so much support behind me. That made them go, oh, you should call my friend. She just, she is really out there working hard and she has so much enthusiasm. And I would tell sellers on my listing appointment, like, listen, I want to sell your house so bad.
Yes.
And I have the energy and the time.
I think it's okay to be honest. Like I remember, and it was deep in, it wasn't when I was brand new, but when I went to the big listing, so my biggest first time ever luxury listing appointment. And I just told him, I'm like, this would be a big deal for me.
Yeah.
Like if I take this listing, I will treat it so well because this is big.
It's a big deal for me.
It's a big deal for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's okay to say to people, I am new. Working with you is a big deal for me. Like, thank you for trusting me.
I'm going to
put all my effort into this.
Yes, I'm going to prove you right. Thank you. I won't let you down.
Okay, but let's go back to what would you do if you could not post about it?
Mm-hmm.
I think you mentioned the cards and the mail. They're like, do you have an email list?
Okay.
Like,
yes.
How did these people, like, maybe you want to shoot an email. Hey, maybe the email is just the third level of you sent the 2 things in the mail. And the third one is, hey, maybe you saw my mail, just also wanted to check in this way, or say whatever you want to say. Hey, I just, went to this class and learned this about real estate this week and, thought it might be helpful to you. Hope you're having a great week.
Absolutely. Hey, are you new here? Make sure you head back to episodes 1 through 3 to hear the foundation and the heart of Hustle Humbly podcast.
Hearing these first 3 episodes will help you to get to know us more and will better frame any other episodes you choose to listen to.
Looking for a specific topic? Head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/categories to find exactly what you need.
Enjoy.
And so when I asked, she said, well, should I just go when I asked her, did you post about this information we just learned at sales meeting?
Yeah.
And she looked so confused, like, no, I didn't even think about that. She's like, should I go post that? And I said, yes, but if you could just write a short email and listen, I wasn't telling her, go make a newsletter.
No, gosh, no.
And put this pressure on yourself that every month this newsletter. No, but if you have an email list, then you can quickly get into your platform, say, hey, friends, I was just at a sales meeting and I learned that they're going to be decreasing flood insurance by this %. This is such great news. If you have flood insurance, this is important to you. Let me know if you have questions.
The end.
And
that took like a minute.
To all of your email list. And even those that don't have flood insurance are going, wow, she's in the know.
Yeah.
She is so smart. The email list is just such a way to get the information needed out on a professional platform.
So let's give it perspective. If less than 5% of your social media followers or friends see your post, a typical business email open rate is around 30%.
Yeah.
If you're emailing to your list from any email service provider, it's going to show you the open rates, right? And you're going to have to, because if your list is more than 100 people, you can't individually send this through like a Gmail, okay? If your open rate is probably going to be over 50% when you start. So if you're consistently sending something people want to open, I will give you for instance, if you're on our email list, like our podcast email list, those are all opened at over 60% rate.
That's awesome.
Because we're giving information that people want to receive, okay? And that's the same thing. As long as you're not sending some weird, canned, long, hard to read, if it's a short like what you just described and actually useful to your people.
No graphic.
Yeah.
It looks like it came just from my email account.
Right.
My email signature was in there. They have no idea it went to however many emails you have.
Yeah.
It's just an email to you.
Right. Okay. And we talked about DMs already. That was my other thing. If I couldn't post on the social media, at least I would DM or shoot them a text.
And here's the other good news. Yes. Yes.
Okay. What's the other good news? Tell me that.
The other good news is that you can post.
Yes.
That social media is great.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very helpful in business. But what are you doing not to say, I'm a real estate agent, call me. I'm a real estate agent, call me. You need to pick a subdivision and go tour some vacant homes. And I don't know about other markets, but in our market here, we have tons of tours going all the time.
Right. That all agents are invited to.
Everyone's invited. I wish they had these more when in 2011, because that would have been so great because I was very poor and hungry. And all of these tours are giving away gas cards and free food and lunch. And every house, there's 5 houses and the first one has a cocktail and the second one has an appetizer and the third one has a sandwich and the fourth one has a dessert. I'm like, where was this in 2011 when I was starving?
Alyssa's convinced that you could be easily homeless and taken care of by just following the Realtor open houses.
I told Katy when we were at the beach recently, I said, I know this is a strange, random thing, but I think I would be like really good at being homeless.
You're like, I've got a plan.
I have this whole plan of, all you really need is a shower.
Right.
And like one pair of clothes that's somewhat clean. And you can stroll into anywhere for real estate purposes. I mean, you could go to $1 million open houses and grab a champagne and act like you own the place.
One of those charcuterie cups.
Yes, we went when we just went to the beach. We went to a house.
Yeah, it was great.
In 30A that was $6 million.
Yeah.
It was just open.
Yeah. Shout out to the Stroop Group.
Yeah. Thanks, Stroop Group. And they had charcuterie and bartenders and, bottled water everywhere. And I just was thinking and then the house was so big. So big. I'm like, someone could hide in the closet and live here for a week.
So fun. I feel like there's a movie about this, but they're hiding in a Walmart or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just surviving
right
from the camping department of the Walmart.
There's just so many opportunities.
Right.
But if you
side note.
I just know these things. But I
don't know how we got there. Okay, but show what you're doing. You're going to the tours.
Okay. These tours, I think, have so much value when you don't have much to do. I don't go on them as much. I don't ever probably anymore because I am busy.
Right.
But I think that they are excellent if you are looking for content for your social media. Go and say, do you know about this neighborhood? Let me show you this house. They have leathered granite. Have you ever seen leathered? Find something about these properties. The goal is, are you, yes, you have said you are an agent, but are you showing you are an agent? And how are you going to do that? You can do tours. You can share statistics that you get. You can share graphics. You can share the news that you put out in your newsletter on your social media as well. But the question is it valuable? When the people see, I'm a realtor, call me. I'm a realtor, call me.
No value to anyone.
There's no value and they likely won't call you.
No. I love all these potential posts, and all of this is reminding me of what to do when you're new or slow, which is episode 17. And then the revisit was what to do when you don't know what to do, which is 135. So there are lots of tactical items in there on what you can do in those time periods, which I think some people are currently having. And I like that. Just challenge yourself to not say, call me if you need to buy or sell a house. Show what you're doing. Show how you're and I know saying provide value is very confusing sometimes to people. You have to think when you're on social media, value to you is if you laugh, if you're entertained, if you're like, oh, that's interesting, they could it doesn't have to be, oh, that person needs that piece of information at this moment.
Right.
But maybe they're like, oh, that's something to think about. Or yes, I did want to know what the interest rates were now.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know whenever I post the interest rates, I get so much feedback from that. And a lot of times it's not from people that are in the market. They'll just respond and be like, dang, this makes me happy with my 5% or my 4%, or so glad we bought our house when we did, or even past clients, so glad we bought our house when we did. It's just engaging.
Right.
And it's reminding them that I have value. I am still a full-time professional agent.
Right. And because you had that conversation, maybe they're not buying, but maybe their friend says, ooh, I have to move. And they're like, oh, call Alyssa.
Yes.
She knows everything.
She's still out there.
She knows what's happening.
She's still out there.
So you want to show, not sell. Okay. So show, not sell. Show them what you're doing. Go out there. Take a picture of a house. Take a picture of the literal neighborhood entrance sign. Yeah. Just driving through some neighborhoods today to see, what's going on.
It's like, what are you doing to show that you are an expert in your field? Yeah. There's an agent that I'm friends with. Her name's Lacey.
Hi.
But every time she goes to CE, we only need 12 hours of CE. Yeah. She gets 50 or something.
She's like, she just learning again.
And she's newer. So she is just taking the education part of this so seriously. And she's picking classes that are what she's looking for specifically. But what I love about it is every single time she takes a class, she posts a picture of herself at the class, what the class is called, and says, I'm here for you.
Oh, I like that.
I love that.
Yes.
It's like taking a 4-hour class on negotiating. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for you.
Right.
More than me.
Yeah.
It's about, I'm doing this to serve you well.
That's good. That's very good.
Wow, Lacey, that's awesome.
I have a little story.
Okay.
So I'm listening to Gary Vee's new book. It is called Day Trading Attention, all about social media.
Day trading?
Attention.
Trading.
Finding where people's attention is and actually using that information to market your business, is what the book is about.
Fascinating.
Okay. And he tells the story of meeting he meets his fans out in the world all the time. He met this couple. They come up to him at this conference and they're like, we are going to change the world. And then they tell him kind of about, I feel like it might have even been like a nonprofit or something, but like, we're going to change the world. And he's like, that's awesome. How many times a week are you posting? And they're like, we are working so hard. And he's like, that's so great. I love that for you. How many times are you posting? And they're like, we just hired a new marketing person and we're so excited to change the world. And he's like, how many times are you posting? And they said, once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, okay, okay. I want you to change the world, but once a week posting ain't going to do it. Sending one card, making one post, sending one DM, these things are not going to stay with people long enough for them to remember you when they need you in a year and a half.
Correct.
So you can't just make one post and be like, I did it. That's why showing and being out there doing some work-related activities makes this easier, because it would be awkward for you to continually be like, hey, I'm in real estate. Call me if you need anything. And then a week later, hey, I'm in real estate. Call me if you need anything. Like, it feels desperate.
It is.
But you have to put something out there.
It's desperate, like Gigi.
Just like Gigi. So desperate. You've got to put
anybody.
You got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, she did.
A lot.
She did. But she just didn't have any boundaries, and she wasn't doing it the right way.
No.
She was spinning her wheels.
I know.
And once she figured it out,
yes,
it worked.
It works. That's right.
And something will stick.
We're telling you.
We're trying to give you some help and guidance. And I found when I was listening to these agents, I was feeling for them so much because I can see why they're confused.
That's what's so funny from this side of it. It's like, it seems so obvious. And it seems like, I'm like, back when I started as a traditionalist, I'm like, I wish that I knew what an email list was and how to easily speak to it. I wish that I knew how to post when I was at the class. And I had 0 social media accounts when I started in 2005.
Yeah.
0. Mm-hmm. Not a single one. I never did any of them.
Mm-mm.
I just missed when Facebook started in colleges. Like, I was already out.
Right.
So then then it's like, well, I don't need to do that. I'm not in college.
Mm-hmm.
But
look at you now.
You can see it all. Can't you just see it all?
Yeah. It's incredible. And kind of like you said, I feel like Gary Vee a lot of times in that example where someone's going, I say, yeah, but when's the last time you talked to a human?
Right.
Well, I made this really cool flyer. Okay. When's the last time you talked to a human, like a friend or somebody? Well, look, I spent an hour on this graphic and listen to me.
Right.
Because it reminds me of that quote that the secret you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
Oh, that's so good.
Isn't that so good?
So good.
Everybody wants, that's why they come talk to me.
Well, wait.
That's why I had to put it into the copy dates.
Because I swear to you, the original graphic I made that I don't know that if I even ever posted it, but when we started the podcast and everyone, I'm like, people are like, what's the secret? Like, what's the secret to success? And I'm like, the secret is hard work. The secret is work.
That's why I think the coffee dates were just like, so disappointing for people because they wanted to meet with me to figure out the app or the technology or the CRM, the magic CRM, because there's something, it's not them, of course. They're not the reason it's not happening. Nobody really wants to look within to say, maybe I'm not doing it right.
Here's some great quotes for you.
Okay.
You can outwork 95% of people by just showing up every day.
Yes. I just, going back to the generations of realtors.
Yes.
When I tell you that I went 52 Sundays in a row of open houses, because it was
that was your goal. You never miss a goal you set.
I had a binder. And every time at the time in 2011, when you did an open house, the office made your flyer for you.
Okay.
There was no Canva. They would just do your flyers and print them for you for the open house. I would always keep one and put it in my binder. So I had all of them. And I did get business from the open houses, but more than that, the amount of experience I got talking to all these people, following up with all of these people, figuring out what worked to get people to sign in, what worked to get people to feel comfortable, what didn't work to get people to feel comfortable, what didn't work when I said this, that didn't go well. Got to try different on the next person. I was always saying, if you need help to meet a termite guy, call me. And today's generation of real estate agents, don't get me wrong, I don't want to say everybody. It is not everybody, because I know there's 2 or 3 on my list that are out there really working. But I will say the majority are like, I just can't do this or do that. Or they would say, hey, I can help you if you give me $50.
Right.
And I'm like, what? I never got
$50 because
paid.
You valued the education that you were getting from doing those activities.
Yes.
And the practice and the confidence you get from doing that type of stuff. So you were like, I don't need $50. I need the practice.
Yeah. Yes. And look, I needed the money.
Sure.
But I wasn't relying on other people for that part.
Right.
I was just doing what I had to do. I knew if I could show some houses to someone, or if I could host an open house or do something new, it would only get me that much closer to my own paycheck.
Yeah.
I wanted to work to make money.
Yeah.
But I did not want people to just give me money for something that I felt like I should have been paying them for.
You were like, this is great. This is an education.
Yes.
Real life practice. Okay, here's some of the really good ones.
Okay.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
That's a good one.
So good. That one says Marilyn Rule Heinrich. I don't know. All right, how about this? Don't underestimate your opponent, but don't overestimate them either. Because I think that's where like, oh, everyone's doing better than me. I think that's really all I have right now.
I think the other good point about that is a lot of the agents, the newer agents I've been talking to, feel like they are working hard. But when they tell me what they're doing, I'm like, that's just never going to make you any money.
No. And
this episode is to sort of help you gauge what you're doing and is it productive?
Right. There are money-making activities and there are busy work activities. And then there's like a balance. Some of these things you have to get done, right? But they're not going to bring in business.
I know one different agent was telling me that she spent like 45 minutes designing a custom sign, like for sale. First she spent all this time making her own logo with her name fancy, but anyway, then once she had said logo, she's like trying to get this certain headshot. Then once she gets that, she's trying to put it all together on this for sale sign. All of this took like a week, but there's no listing to put it in. So it's like, at what point in that process
That's
Did you make
that's
any
a cart
phone
before the
calls?
horse
Yes.
situation.
But she felt like she was working so hard.
But she was working just at the wrong things.
Dedicating her time was not allocated correctly.
Right.
And that might be a good time to do a time audit.
Yeah.
What did I do today?
Right.
What did I do today that could possibly lead to business tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So I was just feeling my heart is going out to so many of the newer agents right now. I would not want to be new today.
No, because you do have to survive. We're
do.
in a definite season of can you survive this?
Mm-hmm.
If you survive it, I think it will be great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people are not going to survive. Not necessarily new, but agents of all experience levels.
Yeah, and if you are a Hustle Humbly listener, you're ahead, okay?
Yeah,
you are seeking help.
You've come to the right place.
Come to the right place, and we want the listeners that survive to have this kind of work ethic.
Well, every article you read right now is like the agents that survive are going to be the good ones.
Yes.
Like the professional ones, the ones that do the work, the ones that know what they're doing, that are getting education, that are really serving their clients. Because regardless of what any article says, sellers and buyers still need help.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just going to suddenly turn that off.
No. Mm-mm.
I'm good.
Yeah, this was good.
Great. So
I have so many people I want to see. Call me, maybe. Call me.
Call me.
Please. I know I just met you. It's kind of crazy. But.
I know. I just met you. This is great. I know. Look, wait, we should have made different words. I know I just posted. This is crazy.
Call me. Call me.
And maybe you didn't see my post or my email.
Just in case.
But I'll have you sell your house, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
All right. That's all. Here's a toast.
Here's a toast.
Bye.
Hi, this is Katy McGrath from Elfont Wissahickon Realtors in Philadelphia, PA, and I want to toast our new agent group because they listen to Hustle Humbly all the time. They love it. They really are motivated by it. They are crushing it in our marketplace, and I am thrilled to have met you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to ratethispodcast.com/hustlehumbly and leave us a review or drop a comment if you're listening on Spotify.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast. Don't forget to find all of the free resources at hustlehumblypodcast.com/resources.
See you next week.